Alright, so I've got a lot to show actually, so this might be a little bit longer video, but a lot of new stuff in addition to what's been going on with OS4. We've actually added more features, so working with Fredrik to get more in there. Alpha testing has been going great. I think we'll be just about done with alpha testing. There's some button stuff being tweaked for the one button control in SA22C's file, and a couple other things being reviewed. But most of the main stuff has been looked at, so we'll probably go into beta testing once Fredrik's happy and has everything in place. And then, depending on how long it takes to get everybody beta tested, this will be coming out. So no specific timeline, but everything's moving great. There hasn't been any real major bugs. A few little things have been fixed. But while we're doing that, we've actually continued to add new stuff. So I've got a few new things I want to show you. These are being added to my library right now. So anybody doing alpha testing, there's going to be some new styles and new enhancements in the library, but you have to get the latest version from GitHub. So if you grabbed one even 2 days ago, some of these new features are not there yet. So you do want to go in and grab the latest version from GitHub for OS4 Alpha before you use some of these styles. So this first one, this is something I actually was looking at a little different way. It's basically, I'm calling it an overload ignition. But taking that concept and talking to Fredrik and working through, Fredrik actually just enabled a whole new feature. So now there's actually Preon Effects possible. So in the past you had Prion, which was for sound. Now there's actual effects you can put on your blade during the Prion. So I'll show one example and then I'll give a little more explanation on it. So this one is my overload Preon effect. And thanks to Jesse Kirkbride for making this sound file. So some of you did send me sound files and I appreciate it. I had a specific need, so Jesse actually put this together. So the Prion sound file that you're going to hear is one that Jesse just made specific for this. So with the Preon effects now, you can actually add an animation that runs alongside that Preon sound file. Now, the animation is dependent on that sound file. So if you don't have a Preon sound file in a font, the effect won't actually appear. If you have a very short Preon sound file, then the animation won't complete. That's part of the thing that I needed. So those of you who sent me those sound files, thank you very much. I do appreciate it. I know you guys work hard on them. I just had a specific thing I was going after. And I needed, for all these animations I'm going to show, they're all for 8,000 milliseconds. So Jesse was able to put it together. But now, if you add a Preon effect to your style and you have a Preon sound file, the Preon effect, the animation or effect will show for as long as that sound file plays. Once that sound file ends, it actually cuts off the effect, goes into the ignition, and plays your ignition sound. So if you have very short Preon files, you won't really get the same thing. So you're going to want, and some of our font makers I'm sure can jump in here, you're going to want longer Preon sound files if you really want to have those effects appear. But let me show that one more time. So again, this is the overload one. I'm going to have several of them in the library, so they'll be added very shortly. When you go into the library, you'll be able to, when you choose Customize and Enhance, you'll have the option now for Preon Effects. So this one's meant to mimic your power building up, building up, building up, and then exploding once it gets full. So, and this was the one that I also said kind of reminded me of the Dragon Ball Z effect, and I know I mangled the name of it, so I'm not going to attempt it again. I'm not an anime fan myself, but I have seen it, I'm familiar. But that's kind of one of the things that I thought of as I was putting this together. So that would work great with all the new Dragon Ball Z fonts I see you guys working on, but you are going to want the Preon file, the Preon sound to be long enough to allow that to happen. And then I've actually got two other versions of Preon Effects. This one I'm calling erratic, and it's meant to be as if the internals of your saber are not all there. So it's trying to spark up, but it's not going to until it finally clicks. So, and these new enhancements for the Preon effects can be added to pretty much any style in the library. So this is an unstable blade with that new erratic Preon effect for an erratic ignition. And then this is the final one. I have a bunch more in my head, but I kind of have to get some done, get them up, and then I'll work on others. So this one is more of a pulse. So this one's similar to overload, but it's a little smoother in that it's going to pick up speed in the pulsing until it's about ready to launch. So for the library, to keep everything simple, all the enhancements and all of the main customized effects, they're going to be white or kind of a mix of white. And that's just so they work with everything. Trying to get the enhancements to also take color was just a programming nightmare. But the plan is once OS4 launches, I will do videos on how to change that. So if you wanted the Preon to be the same color as your blade, it's actually a simple thing to do. Once you have your style chosen, it's a much harder thing to program on the library. So the library, all the enhancements, all of the customization are in white on purpose. First of all, it just makes it work better with any color. Secondly, it also makes it easier to find in the code. But there will be, there's still a lot of work being done on OS4. When it finally releases, as I get the time, I'll do some videos and stuff on how to make the changes. These are just meant to get you off the ground. So I already know some of you are going to ask questions about, hey, can we do the Preon in my color? Yes, you can, but I'm not going to be able to program all of that. There's going to have to be, you'll have to customize after you get that style built. So, and then another new addition for OS4 is the passive battery monitor. So I showed that over the weekend, but thanks again to Fredrik, he actually was able to add one more stage. So previously on boot, I had a passive battery monitor, and on retract, I had a passive battery monitor, and now on font change, we can also add a passive battery monitor.
Oh, there you go.
So what that is it's going to just quickly, when you change fonts, it's going to show you what your battery level is. And mine's getting yellow, so I've been doing this for a little while. My battery's starting to get lower. It'll go from green, bright green is obviously full battery, to red, red being a very low battery. Right now it's getting a little yellow, so that means my battery's about halfway. But now just visually, instead of having to keep checking your battery or wait till it's too late, every time I change presets, if you have that passive battery monitor in the style, it'll just show you. So this way you can be out and enjoying yourself and just really quick visual cue the status of your battery, so no surprises. So that's another new addition. And I actually have a couple new styles I want to show. So this should be it. So this is actually based off of the overload ignition, but I've created a style I'm calling it a power surge, and it's to kind of go along with that. So this will have the Preon emitter effect, but then throughout the use of the blade itself still never stabilizes. So you're going to get continuous power bursts running through the blade. And then this one also has power-up effects. It has a spark tip on it. It's got a lot of other effects mixed in. But this does start again with the Preon. And then that one also had the mix of it had an unstable power-up, it had a spark tip in there. And then this is the new power surge style. So it's an unstable style, but it's not as erratic as Kylo Ren's. What it's meant to be is as if the power level of your crystal just can't be maintained. And I also have a sparking emitter effect to really kind of finish it off. The sparking emitter, the Preon, the power up, and then also the cooldown, those are all enhancements. The new base style is called Power Surge, and it'll be in the library. But you can combine all of those and get this kind of a blade effect. And then this one also has the run-up ignition, run-up retraction, I believe. Yeah, so instead of the blade retracting back to your blade, it's actually meant to be the power gets released. So I'll show that one again. So again, it's got the Preon built in. It's got a power-up, an unstable power-up. It's got a sparking emitter, and then it's got the run-up retraction where that blade will just release. And then you've got your power surge throughout, and then when you hit retract, instead of coming into the blade, it's actually just going to let that energy fly off into the distance. And it has a cooldown effect too, so that blade's going to go unstable white as it lets go. So that's the run-up effect. So that's again another enhancement you can choose. And then while I've been playing with all this stuff, I actually kind of got a style that reminded me of yet another thing. So the overload reminded me of a Dragon Ball Z anime where you build up that energy level, and then you unleash all that power. But when I put this one together, it gave me a totally different genre, a totally different idea. So all I'm going to say is expecto patronum. So obviously the font is not a Harry Potter font. So in an ideal world, somebody will put together a Harry Potter font with a Preon of him saying Expecto Patronum. You get that power building up at the tip of the wand, which is in here, and then you get the unleashing. But when I was putting this one together, the wave effect of this power surge combined with that Preon, it just made me think of the scene in Harry Potter, the Prisoner of Azkaban, when he finally does that spell. And yes, I like Harry Potter. I like a lot of genres. But that one, for those Harry Potter fans out there, when I saw this one as I was playing with it, that's what came into my head, so I figured I'd share it with you. So this is the Silver Blade, running the new power surge style in the library. And then it has the overload Prion, along with an emitter spark. And then it's got the unstable power up and cooldown, and that's how that effect gets done. So I'll show that one more time. So now in your head you can picture a Harry Potter font, and then this is what it'll look like. So, and of course the timings and everything can be changed, so if you get a font and the timing doesn't work perfectly, you can time all this stuff out, but just something more. So a lot of stuff is being added to the library. As I said earlier, it does need the latest version from GitHub. There's been a few of these effects like the Prion, as well as the battery monitor for font change. Those were just added. So if you have an older version of the alpha from GitHub, you're going to be missing some of this stuff. You need to get, so I would say go get the latest version, pull it down, and then you can use all these new effects. And I'll put a note on the library for those of you who are using it. But still a lot more to come. Testing's going great. Everything is moving forward. There's still stuff being worked on, buttons and such. But I expect we'll probably be in beta in the near future. Beta hopefully will go well as well. And then this will be out to everybody. So I'm super excited. I know everybody's looking forward to it. OS4, it's just going to be awesome. There's so much coming that you guys are, I think it's going to just blow your socks off. So keep tuned.